Hey guys, in today's video I want to talk about what it feels like to start over, to take a life that you've been building and dismantle it and sell it off and leave it behind, and to move to another country where you don't know anybody, you don't know the language, and you have no reason to be there other than you wanted to see what it felt like. To go to a place where you could be anyone, to look back and realize that almost nothing in your life looks the way it did just a few months ago, to realize that your old life doesn't even exist anymore, to start making decisions based almost entirely on what you want, and how this is all so new for me. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Let's chat. It feels fantastic. Okay, first, the good. You guys know that back in the United States, we were not happy, that our life just didn't feel like it fit us. And I think a lot of people were really worried when we said that we were gonna sell everything and move to Mexico. I think a lot of people thought that we would get here and regret our decision and immediately turn around and come back. They were nervous about our safety because of all the things they'd heard about Mexico on the news. But more than that, I think they were worried because it was a crazy thing to do, and it was crazy, and that was the point. We needed a major change, and that is what we did. Have you ever been in a place in your life where you just look around and your life doesn't look like you, or doesn't look like what you feel inside? You don't see that on the outside in your life. Like, everything on paper looks great. You're supposed to be happy. Everything is fine, but you're just not. That was me. I did everything right. I played by all the rules. I checked all of the boxes that you're supposed to check. House, car, kid, job, grocery budget, suburbs, kale chips. Like, I did everything that you're supposed to do. And there was just something that wasn't right. My life didn't feel like me. I was miserable, and nobody really knew it. And being here, I am so happy, so deeply happy, possibly happier than I have ever been. And it's not because I don't have problems or that I'm ignoring my problems. I still have all the same problems that I had in the United States. All the relationship baggage and the anxiety and the neuroses, like, I brought all of that to Mexico with me, and I'm not unaware of it. I'm not happy because life is perfect, or nothing bad ever happens, or I'm living in this dream state. I am just deeply happy. Even though there are problems, even though I get sad, even though I get angry, even though everything about me is still me, here I am happy. When you tell people you're gonna make a move like this, they say, not everything is gonna be perfect in Mexico. You can't go to Mexico expecting that to take away all your problems. And that is true. It is true. And yet, I am happier than I have been in a long time. For the first time in I don't know how long, when I look at my life, I love it. It looks like what's in here. I love what I'm doing. I love where I am. I love the decisions that I'm making. I love the decisions that I made that brought me here. And I can't even say how good that feels, to feel like I am living the life that I want to live. Pigeons. To feel like my life looks exactly the way I want it to, even though it's not perfect, even though it's far from perfect. I love it. And I can't even tell you how happy it makes me feel to look around and to say, this is what I wanted. It's not perfect. I'm not expecting it to be perfect, but I am really happy. It feels like I'm living my dream life. But I hate that phrase because it feels so like Like it just floated down to me from the clouds, and that is not how this feels. It feels like a choice. It feels like a choice that I made and a choice that I'm still making, and that's why it feels so good, because I feel like my life looks like me because I chose for it to look like that. And it also feels like if I made that choice, what other choices could I make? Okay, but there's another side to it, and it's because of that very question. If I can make this choice, what other choices can I make? If I can make this change, this huge change of leaving my home country and living a life that is not conventional, then what else could I do? Because that is not always a comfortable question. It is exciting, it's wonderful, it's thrilling, but it is also incredibly destabilizing. And I don't want to minimize how emotionally difficult it is to make such a major life change. It's wonderful. I'm deeply happy. It's also a really emotionally difficult journey for me to be on. Back in the States, there is a script. There is predictability. There is do this, then do that, then do this. There is a timeline. There are expectations. While that can be really oppressive for a lot of us, there is also safety, security, and predictability in those expectations. And once you step outside of that system, you are forging your own path. You are making your own system. You are living life more on your terms, which is wonderful, but it's also really heavy too. I love Guanajuato. I love Mexico, but I also know that I could leave at any time. I have no idea where we will be when our lease runs up next summer. Still in Guanajuato, in Mexico, but another city, in Costa Rica, in Croatia, in Japan, where? I don't know. I have no idea, because once you leave your home country, what's stopping you from leaving another country, right? It's thrilling, it's exciting, it's wonderful, and it's also scary. Because here's the thing, I am a person who plays by the rules. I always have been, but now I feel like I'm making the rules. And I love that, but it's also a lot of weight to carry sometimes. I have never been the kind of person who makes decisions solely based on what I want. I made the right decisions. I made the smart decisions. I thought of other people first. When I make commitments, I make commitments. I am loyal to a fault. I do not give up on something just because I don't like it. I don't leave a relationship because I'm not happy. I don't switch jobs because I'm not happy. And there can be a lot of good in that. I'm a fiercely loyal person. I don't give up easily. But there's also a danger to that, because I stay in bad situations for a lot longer than I should. I have stayed in bad jobs. I have stayed in bad relationships. I have stayed in places that I didn't want to be in. I kept thinking, if I just change my perspective, if I just look at it a different way, if I can just find a way to de-stress more, if I just try more self-care, things will get better. If I just give this person one more chance. If I can just learn to love this place like everybody else seems to. And I stay, and I stay, and I stay until I'm at a breaking point. But now it's different. Now I'm asking what I want. What is healthy for me? What is good for me? And this is absolutely a good thing. And I am so glad that I am getting to this place in my life. But it's also still so new for me that it feels very strange, and it can be scary because I've never operated like this before. Because before there were these unspoken rules, and those rules gave me a sense of security and a feeling of being grounded, and sometimes I miss that. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I described it as just feeling perpetually dizzy. So much change in such a short space of time. I don't even recognize my life most of the time. And that is a beautiful thing, because most of the time I look around my life and say, how did I get so lucky to have this life. How is it that I'm here? A few days ago, we went to the house of a new friend and we sat up on their rooftop terrace. There were some musicians from the United States and a musician from Mexico and us, and we were playing music and singing and eating and talking. And I just looked out over the city and thought, oh my word, how beautiful is this moment? And how thankful am I to be living in it? I don't know where all this is headed, and that is scary, because I know that once I step through that first door, I'm gonna step through the next door and the next one, because you can't go back. You can go back, but you can't go back. You can't undo it. You can't plug back into the matrix. It doesn't work that way. And so that's where I'm at. It's scary and it's weird and it's beautiful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.